Welcome everyone. I'm excited to see all the faces tonight. And I am Corey. I'm your host of the Women and Dog Circle and the owner and head trainer at Muttz with Mannerz in York Region. So tonight I'm very excited because we have a very special guest who does wonderful things that you're going to learn about. I have Lorraine Houston with me from Speaking of Dogs. I'm going to share with you in a moment all about Lorraine and everything that she has done to help the animals out there. So welcome, Lorraine.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So I want to I'm going to read Lorraine's bio. Then I want to share my personal story of how I came across Lorraine and how she has fulfilled my life with a wonderful little pup that I have. So Lorraine, even as a child, she had a passion for dogs and it was evident, but officially and professionally, she has 40 years in dogs when she began her career in the Toronto Humane Society in 1980. Throughout the years, her experience have included the animal shelter work and management, animal control officer, SPCA cruelty agent, dog trainer, therapy dog evaluator, newspaper columnist, seminar organizer and host, animal advocacy board member, Hurricane Katrina response team, canine behavior training and assessments, and dearest to her heart, dog rescue and fostering. Lorraine launched Speaking of Dogs Rescue in 2001 when an old friend from the Toronto Humane Society called her to come and meet a dog who was at the Toronto Animal Services and would benefit from a foster-based rescue organization. And that's how Speaking of Dogs began. I was fortunate, as Barbara was, to attend Lorraine's seminars that she would bring in speakers from all over that would educate people in the dog world or people that were interested. And then as I got busy and everything, one of my friends had reached out to me because her mother, who was a senior, had been put in the hospital and needed to find her senior Shih Tzu. I think was 13 or 14 at the time. So I contacted one of my education manager, Diane Purser, and she's like, call Lorraine. She specializes in the surrenders and the seniors. So we contacted Lorraine, and she said, yes, we can take Bailey. And they had somebody go out and check out Bailey, and then Bailey he had some medication and some other needs, so she found him a great foster home. And then when he was ready, he went into his forever foster home. So that just warmed my heart to see, the process. And here's a senior dog and a woman, a family that had put their mom in the hospital and was dealing with that. And here's this little dog that they're like, okay, they couldn't take it in because they had a senior dog, a large one that would have not gotten along with it. So that just reminded me of the wonderful work that Lorraine does. And then I had in November, my last dog, I had 3 seniors had passed away and I was busy with the daycare, but I really wanted another dog and my spouse was refusing because he's like, we get 40 dogs a day. Why are you getting a dog? So I said, you know what, just think about it. He goes, well, a chocolate lab is the only one I want. And I was like, okay, I only rescue, so I'm not going to go out and get a chocolate lab just like that. And Lorraine had posted a mom and 6 pups from Manitoba, and it said chocolate lab retriever. And I said, hey, look, here's a puppy. And guess what? It's a chocolate lab retriever mixed. It's still look, it's chocolate. It's a lab. And he's like, well, I only want a female. And I'm like, oh, he didn't say no. So anyways, we put our application in. And I think Lorraine might talk about the process of that if we get to it. But the application process, the work that they did, that they were thorough. They called my references, they called my vet, they did everything. And lo and behold, I have wonderful Sky, and Sky was one of 6. And Lorraine actually just helped me recently because I wanted to have a family reunion with all the pups. So this Sunday, I have 5 pups. I'm just waiting for one more, and the mom are getting together, and we're going to be reuniting them, and we'll see if they get along or not. But anyways, that's kind of my story with Lorraine, and I think the work that you do, and I think we're going to see about that, and I mean, you've got a heart of gold. But when you guys hear the stories tonight, it's not an easy task. And thank you for those that are already fostering in that, because your role is like huge too. So I will be quiet. And I guess my question to you, Lorraine, is tell us, I kind of gave a high-level overview of the million things that you've done, but give us a little bit about your backstory and what really led you to what you're doing right now.
Okay, so when I left Toronto Humane Society and my husband got transferred to New York, and I was able to get a job as the shelter manager of the local animal shelter down there. And I was thinking, well, isn't that odd they would hire a Canadian for this job? But anyway, then later the joke was that nobody else would take the job. So then when I came back, I had a lot of great experiences in the States, and they were really big on education. I was constantly getting on, do you want to go to this workshop? Oh, there's a symposium. And I was like, sure, I love to go. So then when I came back, I thought, oh, I guess maybe I'll apply to go back to the Toronto Humane. But it was in a bit of unrest, and there was a board. It was very political. So anyway, so I thought, well, maybe I'll just start my own a thing. And so I thought, oh, I bet everybody wants to be educated because you just can't get enough. So that's why it's called Speaking of Dogs. But then, so we launched, as Barb was saying, and as Corey knows, we started having speakers up to, and our mandate was to enlighten and make life better for dogs in general. And how do you do that? Well, you learn to communicate with them better, so life would be better because you're able to understand each other. So the seminars were popular right from the get-go, and so that was exciting. And then James, who I used to work with, and Jen knows for at the Toronto Humane, he's a vet tech. He got a job at Toronto Animal Services, and he phoned me the day when we got back from New Jersey. We had moved back to Toronto, and well, can you come and get this dog? And I thought, nothing's changed. It's just like being like 10, 15 years ago when we were all working at Toronto Humane, because we'd all phone each other. Can you take this dog? Can you take that dog? So anyway, I said, oh yeah, sure. Anyway, so I showed up, and at the front desk, they said, oh, what's the name of your organization? And I thought, oh, they already know about Speaking of Dogs. I've only had one seminar, and look at that. So I said, oh, Speaking of Dogs, did you come to the last seminar? No, we're just trying to fill this out because we can't put it in your name because you already have 3 dogs. You're not allowed to have any more dogs. So we'll just put it under Speaking of Dogs Rescue then. Is that what you want? And I went, okay, I guess so. So people are always saying, what kind of a name is that? And where did it come from?
And that's where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we want to just do an interactive part right now. And we've got some rescue dog questions, and they're going to be true or false. So it's going to be a poll. So I'll let Tina explain how you get on the poll right now.
That's great. So I'll explain how to get on the poll, and then Corey, you'll ask the questions, right?
Of course I will.
Okay, perfect. So if you're on a laptop or a computer, in your right-hand corner, there's a little square, a triangle, and a circle. When you hover over it, it says activities. I'm going to launch the poll. I'll launch the first one, and you should see a link come up that you can just click on.
A new poll has been launched. Okay.
So if you click on that, if you don't see that link, you can go to the circle, the square, and the triangle and click on that. And then you'll see the first poll that's been launched.
Okay. So I think everybody's ready. Okay.
If there's anybody on a laptop or on an iPad or anything? No? Okay.
Okay. So everybody's good. So the first question is, rescue dogs usually have behavior issues and come with baggage.
So you can,
and then we press vote, right?
Yeah. So everybody vote what you think the right answer is, and then Lorraine will give us some insight.
Okay, so is that everybody, or is that not? Okay, so everybody put false. Is that a true or false?
That was false.
Okay, so we got it right.
Yes. So most dogs that need a rescue or a shelter or a second chance are victims of human circumstance. and if they maybe their owner passed away, there's allergies, there's people move and they don't take their dogs. I mean, we've heard it all. I'm not saying that, that all dogs are, what do they call them? Unicorn dogs or anything, but that's not the majority by any means.
Okay. Okay, good answer, everyone. Okay, you have to go to a breeder to get a puppy. Okay. All right, false. Everybody.
Awesome. Okay, so it is false.
I helped you out because I told you I got my puppy from a rescue.
So I'm sure Georgia and Lisa know that there's an awful lot of puppies up in the northern Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba. So most of the puppies we didn't take puppies for like 18 years. Like we got the odd puppy, and then the pandemic, and then people went and got puppies, and then they're like, oh, I got a husky puppy and I'm living on the 29th floor of a condo and I never had a dog before, but now I don't know what quite to do. So can you come and get the puppy? So that I was like, okay. So, but then when we joined that coalition with the Northern Manitoba, we take puppies quite often now, although we still have a strong focus on the senior dogs. And in fact, this is a quick story, but just at Christmas, people went on Kijiji. This family went on Kijiji, paid, I don't know, like $2,000 for a poodle puppy. And then it was peeing on the floor. They never had a dog before, but I don't think that they did their homework or the research. And then the mother was having like anxiety about the pee. And anyway, long story short, they had the dog 3 days, the puppy 3 days, and then asked us to come and pick the puppy up. So so you get there's different avenues that lead into puppies.
Yeah, definitely.
Do they have babies that pee in their diapers and they give them back after 2 days, 3 days? Sorry, that was my inside voice. Puppy, I'm living the pee.
The education is huge, and I mean that's where again to get to the people before they get the dog.
Yeah,
we're trying.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Okay, I can't. Let me use my screen. I just got to scroll down. Rescues are regulated by the province and need to be certified to operate as a rescue. Some might not know what to answer.
Did everybody vote yet?
So we've got 2 true and 3 false.
I should have put I don't know, but
you should have put I don't know.
You make a choice.
Because that's where some people, okay.
I know, because we know breeders are not regulated, but.
Yeah, so rescues, are they regulated? So we've got 5 people, 3 false and 2 true.
Okay, so rescues are not regulated, and literally Barb and Carolyn could start a rescue tomorrow. You don't need to know about dogs. You don't need to know about behavior or foster parenting or organizing, anything, quite frankly. And I'm sure many of you are probably aware that there's been a surge of people wanting to help dogs, whether their motivation is to help dogs, to some, believe it or not, some people are money oriented or money motivated. Not sure how that works. It certainly doesn't work in where I'm sitting. And some people are doing it for whatever other reason. So somebody said just a couple of weeks ago, oh man, there's more rescues than Tim Hortons lately. Like, how do you keep? And you know what? We used to do the rescue directory, and not a hope to figure out who's who anymore. There's that many.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many. Anyways, but I'll talk about that too. Okay, so next question. Okay. A rescue that has charitable status has been vetted by the government and is trustworthy and ethical. We need an I don't know one here.
Next time.
Okay. We've got 3 answers so far. Come on, throw it out there. There's no money involved. This is 4. Okay, false is 4.
I'm just gonna
You
close
have to put, if you get it wrong, you have to give a $25 donation to Speaking of Dogs. Okay, a rescue that has a charitable status has been vetted by the government and is trustworthy and ethical. 4 false and 2 true.
Okay, so that is false.
Okay.
Just because you have charitable status doesn't mean to say that you've been vetted by the government, that you're ethical, or you know what you're doing. It means that they have accepted you as a registered charity, and most everything to do with being a registered charity is to do with keeping good books, reporting your numbers. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The treasurer and our accountant have everything to do with the CRA. It's confusing because we could be, selling puppies out of the back of our vans. They don't care as long as your books are good and you've filed properly and you've had your audit or your check by the accountant and all your paperwork is in order. You're good to go. So if somebody says, oh, I'm a registered charity, I'm doing a good job. Well, they might be, but you don't know that. And let me just tell you that 2 rescues that we know over the last 20 years, they got shut down. Why? Because money went missing. So they might, you know what, you can't mess around with the CRA when it comes to that kind of thing. But so you get kicked out for maybe not doing your money thing right, missing money. But the dog part of it, the everyday taking good care of dogs, making sure you're doing the right thing for dogs, it's nothing to do with CRA.
Wow. Okay. All right. Next. Adult dogs don't bond as deeply as puppies. We got 5 falses. No trues yet. This is another 6 falses. Okay, everyone's saying false.
And that would be correct.
Okay,
does anybody want to weigh in on this question? I don't always want to be giving. You guys are doing the right answer. Who's adopted an adult dog and has a great bond? I'm sure.
I've adopted an adult, and you did, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. So
our Briar was 2.5 when she came, and she is completely bonded to Lisa.
There you have it.
Yeah.
There you go. We see it all the time too. So I'm glad that you are able to share that with us. So we see it all the time. And so if anybody, at your class or somewhere along the line, somebody, oh no, I can only get a puppy because they'll bond deeper. That's a fallacy.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Speaking of dog rescues, has a force-free science-based mandate for training and handling our dogs. You're getting a lot of truths here, Lorraine.
Good. So it is true. We don't adhere to dominance or pack leader or alpha dogs or alpha rolling or any of that. We're just that's just not. It's just there's nothing really. I have so much to say. I'm getting all my tongue twisted. So the alpha theory has been debunked many times over. And it's hard when you're sort of up against a TV celebrity who's telling you that this is what your dog is thinking, or this is what you have to do. You have to eat first. You have to go out the door first. You have to do, dogs just they're not looking for conflict. They just do what works for them. If this works, then I'll do it again. This didn't work. Okay, well, maybe I'll do something else. So It's not that hard, and we don't have to bully our dogs to have a relationship. In fact, we're very fussy about making sure that people aren't frightening the dogs or when they first come in, because it can be very overwhelming for them. They might be over threshold to start with, and then people are trying to and then you end up with a shutdown dog, so then you don't really get to know the dog. So there's a lot of things that we need to give them time, and we don't need to be we just don't need to be alpha dominating them.
Yeah, definitely.
So Corey, I'm going to suggest maybe we have a few more true and falses, but just to keep us on time, I'm thinking that we'll just put those into the blog.
Okay.
Moving forward. So
is there any that that Lorraine wants to address? So that's my thing.
Are there any specifically, Lorraine, that you want us to get?
Because we're not too bad about time.
No? Okay.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
So just let's go through them quickly.
Okay.
Everybody get the right answer.
Yeah, I know. And stop talking so much, Lorraine.
I didn't say that, Lorraine. I want you to talk.
I'm good.
Rescues always get a full health and behavior profile on the dogs who come into their rescue.
Okay, so I'll answer it then quickly.
Yeah, just answer
so
it.
That we'll just do it this way. So it's a false. Sometimes we have absolutely no idea the dog's coming in as a stray. They don't have a little pass book. They don't have, you know, a little piece of identification to tell us anything. So sometimes we start from scratch. Sometimes they come in as owner surrenders and owners lie. So I actually like the shelter assessments better than the owner surrender information sometimes.
Okay.
Next.
Next.
We only have three more. Dog rescues have shelter facilities that you can visit with the dogs as long as it's during business hours.
Okay, so that was a tricky question. That's a false. Most rescues don't have a facility. The dogs are foster based, and some of the rescues like Dogtails, they do have a shelter, and there's a couple other ones that do, but on the majority, no. And you have to have an appointment, whether it's the pandemic or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next. Oh, sorry, I have to keep scrolling down.
So
rescues operate on a first come, first serve basis.
Not ours. Okay. So I don't honestly think any of them do. We're all about best match, not who gets their application in first. So who ticks all the boxes for the dog is going to be the one we're going to hone in on, not who got out of the gate first and got it filled out. So most rescues are like that.
Yeah. Okay. And last is the adoption fee covers the rescue's expenses.
Okay, so that for us, that's a definite no, because we take senior dogs, and you know, on average, they're like $1,000, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 by the time you do their teeth and get their blood done and figure out what's going on. I don't know any rescues that make money on. Depends on the some adoption fees are very high. Ours is $450, so we're not going very far on a $450.
And I think about that. Like, I mean, even I think about what people are paying when they go to a so-called breeder, and you don't even know if it's a real true breeder. It's just, I mean, and I got a puppy that's amazing for $450. So anyways, and I helped a dog.
That's
all right.
right.
So Lorraine, I think you talked
Yes.
a little bit about the shelter and stuff. And I think we're going to see some of the examples of, I think we've got some stories that you're going to share.
Okay.
But what do people need to be aware of if they're thinking about rescuing a dog?
You have to be aware of what
do people need? Okay. So someone's thinking about rescuing a dog. What do they need to be aware of?
Oh yeah, okay, now I got it. I'm connecting the dots. Okay, so I was like, what did we talk about? I thought I wrote it down. Anyway, so if you like to sit and watch movies and you like to go for a nice saunter around the block, and you're sort of a low energy, laid back, you're not into, you know, then you're gonna try and match the dog energy level wise. So you're not going to get a husky, right? You're maybe looking at a husky puppy. So you're going to, and the rescues can help you with that too, because when you fill out an application, you get a profile of the person, the lifestyle, Are you working? Are you energetic? Have you had dogs before? And that seems like some people take that the wrong way, but some of the dogs need more experience than others. It's just plain and simple as that. It's nothing personal. People think that we're judging, and we're not. We're looking at the lifestyle of a person. We're looking at the dog. Do they match? Do you have a cat? Well, that one said, please don't apply if you have a cat. But as I was saying to the girls when we did the pre-interview, like people, they see the picture and they get in their head that the dog must have this personality because that's what it looks like. They don't read, they fill out the form, and then they're upset or annoyed when they aren't successful.
Mm-hmm. No, it's so true.
So that's what we look for when we're going through the adoption applications. That's what we're looking for. Matches, good matches,
really good matches. And so, you know, we've touched on fosters. We have 2 people that foster their dogs there, or they've been fostering. And I know fosters are a big part of your organization. And even when you talk about the rescuing, these dogs normally, I'm going to say, have been in a foster home prior to going out for adoption, because you said you didn't have a facility. So can you talk about the fosters and what's involved?
Yes. So the foster parents that when you join up to be a foster parent, your tasks are to provide, obviously, TLC, shelter, good care, but you have to report back to us about the behavior. So you're giving updates. So what behavior are you seeing? How's the dog settling in? What's the medical? I get the medical form, so we'll go over it. But, oh, she's drinking too much. She's peeing too much. Okay. So we get everything organized there. And we do have a foster contract. We have a foster manual to make sure that we're keeping the dogs safe. We don't want the dogs, you know, running off leash, for the love of Peter. Or if their first stop is not going to be the dog park, right? So we want to keep the dogs safe. We want to give the foster parents as much information as we can. So we now have, most recently, we have now a 4-part training video that they have to watch now. So it's much like what your training class is, but it's on the video or on a webinar.
Okay. And in addition to, and the fosters too, I mean, what they're, as you said, they're giving the TLC. I mean, you mentioned about the funding and that. So all of the care for the dogs, the vet visits, the food, everything is care. It's taken care of by Speaking of Dogs.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. So the foster parents, we pay for the food, the vetting, the grooming, we pay for, and then our storage unit, they have to go there, get a leash, get a collar or a harness, and food, treats. That's all down at the locker.
Okay, that's great. And you also, I mean, if people, I'm just thinking about how we can share how to help you, but if people can't foster, is there volunteers or other ways they can help Speaking of Dogs if they wanted to get involved?
Yes. So I have, we need transport people. So if you're in the GTA, and you can't foster, but you like driving, or you want to go on a road trip, or you like going through Tim Hortons or whatever it might be, we always need what I call inner city drivers, because maybe Fluffy needs to go to the vet, or a Diamond needs to go to the groomer. And some of the foster parents don't drive. Some of them have to go to work. Some of them are not available to get to the East End because they live in the West End, and we can't get into the vet now in the West End. So it's very different in terms of trying to get a vet appointment. I can tell you that right now, and the spay neuters are backed up. Anyway, transporting, yes, please. We have a walkathon every spring. Yes, please.
Can we bring our dogs to the walkathon?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Most definitely.
Okay.
So lots of things to do. And then once the pandemic opens up, we're always at the booth, or at the Wolfstock, or at the expo, or down at the beach.
That was cute. Well, you know, whatever.
Okay. So
I think you have a question from Georgia and Lisa.
I was laughing because she put
I
her
put my
hand up.
hand up.
And I said, no, it's right there. So. It's not like we don't Skype all the time, okay?
Hi again.
hi.
Hi
Okay,
again.
what's your question?
I was wondering, first of all, where are you based out of?
Okay, so we were and still are GTA, but a lot of us have Sputniked out into other areas, and now we have foster homes like literally all the way from one end of like London all the way, up to Barrie and beyond, Peterborough, Collingwood, Barrie. So we're kind of all over the place now.
Do you have a particular vet that you deal with?
Yeah, our vet's in Scarborough.
Yeah.
So,
I drive to Barrie. That was why I was asking.
yeah, so our vet is amazing. We've had him for the whole 20 years, but because we are all East Enders, right? So and that's where he is. So, but we now have like, I think 12 or 13 different vets to make sure that all the foster parents don't have to, drive all over the place.
Oh, that's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so can we talk about some success stories? And is this where we're going to do this show and tell, Tina? Okay, so you're going to run this. So we want to talk about some of the success stories and show some of the dogs that you've helped. Oh, that was my dog. That's my dog.
Hey, girlfriend. What a beautiful dog. Whose dog is
Oh my
that?
God. I won the puppy lottery when I went to Speaking of Dogs. Okay, so can we see? So I guess Tina, let's see the next one. Or I've talked about Sky. Sky's from Manitoba. She was one of she loves her snow. You don't want, I've talked about her already. Are we going to the next picture?
Okay, I'm going to the next picture. Hold on.
Okay, that's where I'm like, okay, there's Sky.
Yeah,
I can't talk about
and
her.
then I'm going to hand it over to Lorraine to just talk about
the pictures. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try not to bother on. Okay, so let's talk about Cheeto. You can see over on the left side, there's Cheeto. That's where he was. He was tied up day and night, night and day, by a man who was a contractor, never home. There was actually another dog over on the other side, sort of a bull terrier of some, or anyway, whatever. So we were able to pick Cheeto up, and he went to a friend of mine who owns a dog boarding place, and because we didn't know him very well, and the guy didn't, like, they were both outdoors all the time, so it was hard to get a good profile. So then she had him, and then she's like, oh my God, this dog is such a character. Can you imagine, like, well, all dogs are characters, but what a waste of life. And now he lives with a lovely retired lady out near Oakville, and there he is with his little ball, and there he's having a nap. So, and we don't charge for surrenders, by the way. Like, people, like, if the dog needs us, we're there. We don't say, oh, you have to pay us $350 or $500. No, we'll just come and get him. He wasn't neutered. Look how thin the poor guy is.
Yeah.
That's Cheeto. Okay, now we're moving on. I did two.
We have a hand raised first. Did you have
sorry.
You want it now? These are your success stories. These dogs have been adopted. So
yeah, we have lots of success stories, but I concentrate on chain dogs because we had our like all of a sudden all these dogs were chained up, and it was just like, what the heck? Okay, so this is the story of Emerald, which was also in the same year as Cheeto. There you can see her. So the neighbors would go by and take pictures, and they would be all over social media. Like, can somebody hold this dog? Now, I know the provincial people went over and they had them upgrade the doghouse, but this dog was like that all the time. Like, look at her face there, poor soul. So anyway, somebody said, if I know the person, if I can convince her to give the dog up, will you take the dog? And I said, yes, we will do it. And we didn't, again, like, you never know, because you're sending a driver with a big shepherd. And, but one of the neighbors said she had known the dog since she was a puppy, and that was her life. And now you can see her with her, that's her mom. And the mom is actually a vet tech out in Windsor area. It's quite a long way away. But they said there she is at the beach. She was anxiety ridden and stressed in that home for the first week, 10 days. She was panting, pacing. She didn't eat. She didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden they said one day into the second week, she woke up and she was just like, all right, I'm good. And never looked back.
Wow,
And there
that's
she
great.
is.
That's great.
Beautiful. I think Georgia and Lisa, did you guys have a question you
Yes.
wanted to ask?
I did. I was going to ask. So
Yeah, sure.
how did they come to the rescue? Is somebody calling you or getting in contact with
Oh
you?
yeah. Oh yeah. It never ends. So it's either email,
Yeah.
but the shelters get a hold of us through, the same way they usually email us or text us. And the owner surrenders are usually we have a phone. I think we're the only ones that still have a phone. So, and then mostly email, I would say, Lisa, mostly email.
Okay. Just kind of curious.
Okay, so now here's our two little pups there with now these two dogs are from a Mennonite puppy mill out near London. You can see they came in. That's when I went and picked them up. Look at the eyes and look at they were huddled together, and they were in a barn, and they had all like poo and stuff in their bums, and their eyes all crusted shut. And my friend is a groomer, so she said we gotta get this done. So they're so good. This was, believe it or not, these are two of the dogs that were in that barn when the brucellosis thing hit the fan, and we had to test them. We had to take them in, and it was blood tests, and then it was quite an ordeal. But when people say, "Oh, where do most of the puppies come from in the puppy mills in Ontario?" The answer to that question is the Mennonites and the Amish. That's them. For them, that's a crop. That's their crop right there, puppies.
Wow.
It's terrible. It's dreadful. There's Soph. So Sophie from a different Mennonite, but there she is in the barn. You can see her. She was so stressed and nervous the first couple of weeks. And she went to a wonderful foster mom who actually used to run a Cocker Spaniel rescue. And she was a professional groomer, and she was showing her Cockers. And she said, I'll foster that dog for you. And there she is. And then the same thing, like, once these dogs have a chance to decompress, some of them takes a really long time, especially from the Mennonites. The dogs take such a long time to trust and to, they're very skittish. Sophie did well though after decompression, but we're talking not weeks, not days, not weeks, but for these dogs, months, months they're in foster care. Okay. So you see Grace Kelly over there. This little Grace Kelly is actually from Manitoba, and she was paralyzed in the back, I think, and she was dropped by accident down some stairs, or dropped by one of the kids, and somebody asked me just why is this like this? So they're in very remote areas. I'm sure Lisa and Georgia know this. Like, they're in remote areas. There's no vets. There's no groomers. It's very difficult between getting a flight or getting a ride. So that's why Southern Ontario, they have a better opportunity. So that's what she looked like. Now, we did send her to a neurologist. She did regain some of her back end function, but not 100%. So there's her new life. She lives with a wonderful woman who lives downtown Toronto. And as you can see, she's just she's so well cared for and so loved. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's Baker, Big Bad Baker. There he is. He was on the side of the road. He's also from Manitoba, and he had wounds that were seeping. He was picked up by an RCMP officer and brought to the emergency clinic. And then he was part of our coalition. He tested positive for heartworm. So there he is again. We, believe it or not, I put him on to, because he just, believe it or not, got adopted on Saturday. He was with us for almost a year. It took to, like, for the heartworm treatment. So we did the three level heartworm treatment, which is slower but safer. Now, again, here's Magoo. So what people I don't think understand is in Manitoba with the dogs, they're running free. And then the males all get in fights when the females go in heat. So there he is at the emergency hospital because he got part of his ear taken out, so you can see. And he came to Southern Ontario last year. And there he is. Once we got his ear and his stitches and everything. Another lovely, lovely dog. Just 1 second. No, just the question. Thanks. Yeah, he can go. Thanks. Sorry. So sorry. There's a little poodle coming. So she's downstairs. So there's Magoo, happy as can be, lives with a great guy, a retired school teacher, not far from here. So we see him sometimes when he comes into town, he pops by and says hello. Now, okay, so this is a generalized thing where I was saying to Corey and Tina, there's puppies everywhere. As I say, Georgia and Lisa already know this. And that was, we took, I think about 5 or 6 puppies just in the last couple of weeks, just to help them so that they don't reproduce and have more puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here's the dogs we have for adoption. Sadie, a lovely German Shepherd. Charlie, this dog is like a lab. Somebody, oh my God, I got to tell you, the lady phoned, she said, I can't keep my dog Charlie. I bought she paid $2,000 for the dog or something crazy. They told her it was a Labradoodle. And she said, I just don't understand. I can't breathe. The dog has got no, like, that dog maybe saw a poodle once, but there is no dog. And then Shani, so some of the, like, oh, that's, yeah, you can visit them. I don't want to take up all your time, but you can go to our site at speakingofdogs.com and visit the dogs.
Yeah. And then you just recently were called because the Bernedoodles, like,
yes.
That was another one. So are they in the foster homes right now and that?
So it started off with 5 rescues and now it's 10. We're not allowed to say anything like about anything like disparaging or where it is or who it is or anything like that. Now there's 10 rescues and the woman who's organizing it is one of our rescue friends. She's doing a magnificent job. I don't know how she keeps everything straight in her head.
So story is the story that there are available Bernedoodles for fostering or adoption? Not yet.
Or not, who knows?
Yeah, so yes.
Okay. So anyways, we're the same thing. But can I talk hypothetically about, so what happens, because I also want to talk about backyard breeders and puppy mills, because I think we talked about this and I just want you to kind of give some information about what they are.
Right. Okay. So I think the easiest way to say it is that, like, puppy mills are big, they're big operations. They got dogs everywhere, like in the barns, crates everywhere. They breed them every season. They're not cared for. It's all about the money and the puppies. And it's a big scale operation, a puppy mill, generally out of a barn or a warehouse or something like that. Where a backyard breeder also does contribute to the pet overpopulation in a, oh, someone has their hand up. Okay. Yes, Diana?
Well, go ahead, finish.
Oh, maybe I say, oh, you have a cute dog. Oh, I have a cute dog. Oh, let's have a couple puppies and then we'll sell them. Or maybe they're people who are, you know, they're just breeding. They don't know what they're doing. They're doing it. The whole backyard thing is because it's not generally well thought out. It's just usually to make a couple of quick bucks, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm seeing a lot of that. I mean, and with the doodles, I mean, okay, and I know Tina has some of that. It's one of the most popular breeds right now. And people think it's hypoallergenic, which is not 100% hypoallergenic. So there's been a demand from the population because of COVID. But now what's going to happen is, and I think we're already starting to see it. And this is where I was saying to everybody, okay, just wait, don't get a dog yet, because we're going to be lots available pretty soon. Because there's people, like you even talked about, some that get the dog, don't know what it's like. Then they've never had one before, and the next thing they don't want to deal with it anymore, or their lifestyles changed because they're back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're back to work, or they're vacationing, or their kids are all hockey players again.
Yeah. So okay,
Diana, go ahead.
So my question is, like, I started looking a little while ago to get a small dog, because I do live in a condo, so I think that would be the best for the animal. Mm-hmm. And when you start looking, you start seeing, yes, I've run into certain kennels that they say they're kennels, and they're like, they operate outside of Waterloo, if you know where I'm going with this. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I do.
And they say they're legit, but then how do you know, right? Like, then I dug deeper into the rabbit hole of the internet, and you start finding out that they're puppy mills and all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then you also go onto the internet and you get, I know there's these teacup ones, for example, right? Mm-hmm. So I signed up for them. They're posting new litters every month. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, how is this dog?
Well, you know what? They start making them smaller, or their faces flatter, or it can't be healthy for the dog. And they're looking for big bucks, a quick turnover, taking advantage of people who want to shop on because of the pandemic. They're not going to, back in the day, oh, I want to come and see the mom, or I want to, sit outside and get to know the puppies, or, but it's changed, not only because of the pandemic, but because more and more people, it just seems to be an accepted way now is to buy a puppy over the internet. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunately created, people who are going to take advantage of that and line their pockets. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about.
And then Jennifer, So Jennifer saying a reputable breeder will have. Oh, I lost her little comment.
Where'd you go, Jen? Did it go?
Wait, I got it here. A reputable breeder will have extensive health testing and typical showing history or working status for the parents. And okay, so a reputable breeder too. I mean, some say, okay, a breeder's CKC, which if we get into the designer dogs, which is a due to that, they're not registered anywhere. So
no, they're not.
So again, it's really a difficult, because I mean, so. It's just and where you say the pandemic has supported a little bit of this, and everyone's gotten dogs, but when you go, you can't. They would like, well, we can't do visits because of COVID right now, so we'll bring the puppy out. Yes. To you. I was listening to one, and Barb, I won't even get to, but I was listening to one person, and they brought the puppy to the end of the driveway. So and again, and these people paid over $2,000 for the puppy. And I'm like. Sure. You don't even get to see where the puppy lived or anything. So, I mean, it's something. I mean, and that's where Lorraine maybe just we're not going to get. This could be a whole night thing. So, but I'm just saying is I think just do your homework. Make sure you see the parents. Make sure you see the living environment. Make sure, a reputable breeder or just somebody that is going to be giving a dog should interview. No different than what you do for your dogs is they should interview you. They should, check out your lifestyle. Where is this puppy going? And making sure if it's like you're giving away your child that you've just bred. Like,
and they usually want to call your vet, just like we do. They want to call your vet. They're gonna want to know, do you know that this could happen, or so they have the
Yeah.
questions that's specific to that breed, because that's where their expertise is. Just like the rescue people who just do one breed, like the Great Dane
Yeah.
people, or like the standard poodle people, they know stuff that sometimes breeders don't even know.
Yeah. And my thing is, when you get your puppy, once you've got your puppy, you're going to love it. You're going to give you TLC, and that's where I've always, with the rescues and what I've seen. And I mean, Lorraine, I'm sure you've seen way more than I have, but that's why I'm just an advocate of education and trying to educate people when they get their pup, how to, make sure that it doesn't end up in a shelter. And that's why I started Muttz with Mannerz. I wanted to make sure I could educate so that the pup stays with them. And then Tina's going to say it's time. Or she's
okay.
No, I was going to ask a question. If you wanted to foster a dog, I'm not going to do it yet because my husband will probably divorce me.
And you got 2 right now.
And I have 2 and I have a puppy. But soon
But I think Georgia and Lisa have a bunch.
At some point I will. I guess I just wanted to ask, how do you start the process? Like, what do you do?
So if you think you're interested in fostering, then you would go to our website, speakingofdogs.com, and then under the volunteer icon, you'll hit volunteer. It'll come up, I want to foster a dog. Click on that. There's an application, fill that out. It goes through, and then we have one of our foster coordinators give you a call to do the orientation. We still do call references. We still need to do the telephone interview and all that. And well, that's the orientation. And we still not doing in-home visits quite yet. So you have to do a video or photos.
And you can, you obviously, you talked about screen and stuff. Like, you can say, okay, my family is an active family. I want a dog that's got this kind of energy level. Like, you'll be able to assess the dogs. You get given the dogs, like.
No, that's a good question. So that's a good question. So we try to match the foster parents just as much as we do the adopters, because there's no point in giving Mr. and Mrs. Nielsen, who are like 75, the husky puppy, right? So they're going to say no anyway, right? Because how about this dog? No. No. I try not to ask dumb questions. Does somebody else have a question?
Yeah, Georgia and Lisa.
Okay.
Actually, I was just going to comment. It took us a little while to figure out what dynamic worked best in our home with the types of dogs we were getting.
Mm-hmm.
The first dog we got, wow. Oh, yeah. He was a beagle mix something, and he tore apart my sunroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried to attack my male.
Yeah.
So male dogs were out of the question. We got a female, but then my other female didn't like that. And we found that moms with puppies were the absolute best.
Mm-hmm.
I have a room, they can be self-contained, they have a small yard. I train them, potty train them. I start as soon as they can start walking. I've got them going outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's and you do
But
get
every
into
dynamic's different.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, and
definitely.
you get into a rhythm, and things seem to work better. Diana.
Yeah. So I have now, after doing all the history, like reading and of the horrors of breeders, and not being completely scared of getting an animal, but I've started looking at rescues. And I think I've actually might have submitted my application to Speaking of Dogs. I'm not think so, but is it, like I said in my applications, I think it's best for a small dog, right? I live in a fairly big condo. It's 1,000 square feet, but I don't think a medium-sized dog would do well, right? Is that okay to say it on an application?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And is it okay to say that I'm living in a condo as well? Because
well, if you live in a condo, it's a really good idea to say you live in a condo, because then we don't give you a dog that barks, right? Right. Like, that's
Although
what I mean.
do have a few neighbors that their dogs bark, but
but yeah, I mean, some dogs are really scared, and some of the puppy mill dogs, like we can't put them in condos because they need a yard. They have to have access to go right outside to the yard. The elevator would be like just too much for them to be able to do. So there's a lot going on, but I think it's important for you to say, I've never had a dog before. I want to be successful. I live in a condo. I need you to help me. And then whatever dogs we have, like a lot of times I say to people, I'm sorry, like we just don't have a match for you right now, but please keep checking. Or I give them lots of other rescues, like check these guys, whatever. It's not, you do have to do what you're doing, and that's a good thing. You're doing your research, you're checking everything out, you're trying to make sure that the dog that you do adopt is going to be a good match for you.
Yeah. And I've also put in my applications, I am open to taking classes.
Sure.
And
good. Yeah.
Like
good.
If they're willing to help, if the rescue is willing to help me or guide me, I'm willing to go to whatever class you tell me I need to go to, right? Like ultimately it's not only for my good, but it's for the dog. Like it's for the dogs that everything works out smoothly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay, Tina Finelli. Now it's time. We're time. Respectful. That's where I'm sorry. This is a passionate topic.
I know.
It is.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to say thank you to Lorraine and everybody for showing up. And if you are interested in learning more about Speaking of Dogs, they do have a website, speakingofdogs.com. You can even go there and donate if you would wish. We did say that, well, I guess if we go and we'll share some of you've got your spring walkathon or whatever you're doing. And so there's lots of that. Donations. I mean, I'm trying to do donations of funding because sometimes it might not be monetary. You're always in need of certain things to help with the dogs that are coming in. And so I just want to thank you for sharing everything that you shared.
Well, thanks for having me. I had a really exciting time. I love talking about dogs. I know I blather on, but I could talk about them all the time.
Like,
what you do is amazing, Lorraine.
Very amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing. And for everybody else who's fostered or adopted, amazing work.
And it's so great to get the information. Like this has been really, really informative.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad.
All of you.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, so I hope everybody has a great rest of the evening.
Yes. And just before we close off, we do have in March, just for anyone, Beth, I hope to see you. We have our March 12th. We're doing a hike in the forest again. Now the Step Up for the Pups event fundraiser. Is that yours one? Is that mid-June? When is that?
Mid-June.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
mid-June.
So that's one that we'll keep an eye on to make sure we get out. Muttz with Mannerz Spring's coming up. All those puppies and dogs want to get out to classes. So Barb's got her scenting classes starting March 19th. We've got agility classes coming up outside in April. So puppy manners, I'm doing Wednesday nights. Community walks are starting in March. The weather should be better. So lots happening if you want to check out Muttz with Mannerz too. Okay. But thank you, everybody. And we will be in touch. So thank you. Thanks, Caroline.
Nice to meet you all. Georgia and Lisa, where do you guys live? Are you near the York Regional Forest at all?
We're in Aurora. Yeah.
Oh,
you're very close.
Okay, well, you're close. Well, our hike, check out our website at seewhatyoucando.com/dog circle. And we have our next hike listed there. You can come out with your pups. We usually go out to Eldred King, which is about a 20-minute drive for us east on.
I did that one, the last one that we had.
Yeah, Tina Lisa was with us last week, the last one.
Which dog did you bring?
Okay.
I brought both dogs, and I had Judy Cameron.
Oh, you had Judy.
Yeah, everybody knows Judy. Yes,
okay,
Judy
so
had.
And also, okay, that's good. And also, March 24th, we have Karen Baxter, dog a behavioralist, coming on.
Yeah, that one's not in the calendar yet. But if
I just secured her yesterday, so it's in her calendar. So
I encourage you to just sign up for the dog circle, because we'll post there where you're like all the upcoming events and stuff, and we'll also.
Quick question: can you resend the March walk? It disappeared off my. I couldn't find it, so I don't know if you resend that one.
The March.
Or do I need even? I'm going to come, so I don't know if I even have to sign up.
You know what? Sign up for it. I'll send you the link, Beth. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link now. Actually, if you go to the seewhatchickendo.com/dog circle,
It'll be there.
the event's there. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll do it that way. That's fine.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Thanks, Diana.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Lisa.
much.
Thanks,
Good night.
Barb. Bye.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.